Patrick Mahomes' recent public address sent shockwaves through the NFL community. While many assumed it was a routine press conference, closer analysis reveals layered meanings with potential long-term implications. Every word, pause, and emphasis carries weight in understanding Mahomes' mindset, future intentions, and approach to the team. Observers noted subtle shifts in tone, careful phrasing, and deliberate repetitions that hint at more than surface-level statements. Mahomes' speech touched on team dynamics, leadership responsibilities, and personal goals, all while maintaining professional restraint. Context matters, as his words were delivered shortly after a high-profile game, where performance pressure and media scrutiny were at their peak. Analysts emphasize that such speeches often blend motivational elements with strategic messaging, balancing transparency with protection of team cohesion. By decoding these messages, patterns emerge that suggest future strategies, locker room culture, and Mahomes' evolving role within the Chiefs organization. Understanding the speech requires careful attention to content, subtext, and timing, revealing a calculated effort to convey intent without disclosing private deliberations. The significance of this address lies not only in what was said, but in how it frames Mahomes' public persona moving forward. On initial review, Mahomes' speech appears straightforward, yet a closer examination reveals nuanced signaling. He emphasized teamwork, accountability, and resilience, but specific word choices indicate subtle commentary on current challenges within the Chiefs' offense. Analysts observe that phrasing such as growth and adaptation often correlates with underlying strategic adjustments, hinting at future game planning or changes in personnel focus. Nonverbal cues, including controlled pauses and deliberate gestures, reinforce key statements, signaling confidence while acknowledging pressures. The speech also contained layered acknowledgments, where recognition of teammates' efforts subtly hints at leadership expectations. These elements, when combined, communicate both reassurance and challenge. Reassurance to fans and teammates, challenge to the organization to maintain high standards. Media coverage often overlooks these signals, focusing only on soundbites. Understanding Mahomes' true intent requires interpreting context, history, and interpersonal dynamics within the team. Experts suggest that such decoding can reveal plans for upcoming seasons, contract implications, and personal objectives. Every deliberate choice in delivery serves as a form of strategic communication, blending motivation, leadership, and signaling into a single cohesive address. Leadership was central to Mahomes' speech. He repeatedly highlighted responsibility, accountability, and the importance of guiding younger teammates. While these statements appear motivational, experts note the emphasis likely reflects internal team dynamics and evolving roles within the Chiefs. Mahomes' careful articulation demonstrates awareness of his influence, suggesting he is preparing for an extended period of leadership, both on and off the field. He implicitly referenced the importance of setting examples during critical games, signaling commitment to organizational values and expectations. By focusing on leadership, Mahomes communicates confidence in his ability to manage team cohesion amid challenges such as player departures, injuries, or shifts in coaching strategies. Analysts also suggest that this emphasis prepares the team for increased autonomy, with Mahomes' position as the anchor during high-pressure situations. Leadership messaging reinforces public perception while shaping internal locker room culture, emphasizing collaboration, discipline, and accountability. Mahomes' approach balances personal responsibility with team-centric focus, blending individual excellence with collective cohesion. This strategic articulation reflects an awareness of how leadership affects both performance outcomes and long-term organizational stability. Mahomes' speech carries significant implications for the Chiefs. Subtle cues point to potential changes in offensive strategy, player utilization, and team focus. By addressing growth and adaptation, Mahomes signals readiness to evolve approaches in response to past game outcomes, opponents' tactics, and roster changes. Analysts suggest this could indicate shifts in play calling, integration of emerging talent, or adjustments to key roles. Beyond tactical implications, the speech reinforces expectations regarding professionalism, commitment, and team culture. Mahomes' carefully chosen language communicates standards to the organization, emphasizing both accountability and performance excellence. For teammates, it serves as a public reaffirmation of trust and collaboration, setting expectations for the coming season. Fans may interpret it as reassurance of Mahomes' dedication and vision, yet insiders recognize the subtle negotiation of authority, influence, and long-term objectives embedded within the address. Understanding these implications provides insight into how Mahomes balances public messaging with strategic intent, ensuring alignment between leadership, vision, on-field execution, and organizational priorities. The speech, therefore, is both a motivational tool and a blueprint for future adaptation. Observers have noted that Mahomes' phrasing may subtly reflect his stance on long-term contracts and career trajectory. Statements about personal growth, team evolution, and responsibility could indicate strategic positioning in ongoing negotiations, aligning public sentiment with professional priorities. Analysts emphasize that subtle references to commitment and future potential often correlate with contract discussions in the NFL, where leadership messaging can influence public perception and organizational decisions. Mahomes' choice to highlight both individual and collective objectives demonstrates awareness of how media coverage can shape outcomes. By addressing dedication and growth publicly, he reinforces value as a leader while maintaining flexibility for private negotiations. Career longevity, anticipated roles, and potential adjustments in responsibilities are embedded within seemingly motivational language. This dual-purpose communication exemplifies Mahomes' skill in balancing transparency with discretion. By decoding these signals, insiders can infer priorities, expectations, and strategic intentions that may not be explicitly stated, revealing how elite athletes leverage public appearances to influence both organizational and fan perspectives while safeguarding personal interests. Media interpretation of Mahomes' speech has varied widely, often focusing on dramatic phrases or soundbites while overlooking nuanced meaning. Headlines emphasized emotional tones rather than underlying strategic signals. Analysts argue this distortion can mislead fans about the speech's true intent, ignoring subtle implications about team structure, future planning, and leadership expectations. Mahomes' careful language resists simple summaries, requiring contextual understanding and consideration of tone, emphasis, and timing. Public narratives often prioritize controversy or emotional resonance, while the reality reflects a calculated effort to communicate multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. Understanding Mahomes' intent requires integrating knowledge of team dynamics, player development, and organizational strategy. By decoding beyond headlines, one gains insight into internal priorities and forward-looking objectives. The contrast between media portrayal and internal reality underscores the strategic sophistication in Mahomes' communication, blending public reassurance with deliberate signaling for teammates and management. Accurate interpretation demands attention to content, delivery, and subtext, highlighting Mahomes' role as both player and strategic communicator. Mahomes' address influences locker room psychology significantly. His emphasis on accountability and growth communicates confidence in teammates while establishing expectations for performance and resilience. Younger players perceive the speech as guidance and endorsement, reinforcing leadership, hierarchy, and team culture. By carefully balancing praise with challenge, Mahomes motivates without alienating, instilling both confidence and urgency. The address also serves as a cohesion tool, aligning diverse personalities around shared objectives and emphasizing collective responsibility. Psychological reinforcement is crucial in professional sports, particularly during high-pressure seasons, where mindset directly affects execution. Mahomes' strategic communication fosters resilience, adaptability, and trust, ensuring that teammates internalize expectations while remaining motivated. By framing his message around growth and collaboration, he strengthens interpersonal bonds and maintains a focus on team-first mentality. reinforcing the psychological foundation necessary for consistent performance. This underscores how elite athletes use communication not only to convey intent, but to actively shape behavior, culture, and performance outcomes within a professional sports environment. Fans play a key role in amplifying Mahomes' messaging. Public reaction to speeches often reinforces organizational goals by creating positive sentiment and support for leadership decisions. Mahomes' deliberate use of inclusive language, references to teamwork, and acknowledgement of fan loyalty fosters trust and emotional investment. Analysts note that when fans perceive clarity, commitment, and authenticity in leadership, public morale improves, indirectly benefiting team performance. The speech also sets a narrative framework, guiding media coverage, social media discussion, and fan expectations. By managing tone, word choice, and emphasis, Mahomes aligns public perception with team priorities, subtly influencing opinion without overt direction. This interaction demonstrates the interplay between professional communication, public perception, and organizational benefit, revealing how strategic speeches extend impact beyond immediate team members to shape broader stakeholder engagement. The ability to balance motivation, transparency, and audience management exemplifies elite leadership communication in modern professional sports. Beyond immediate effects, Mahomes' speech signals long-term strategic positioning. References to adaptation, responsibility, and team growth indicate planning for future seasons, roster adjustments, and leadership evolution. Analysts suggest that layered messaging can influence organizational decisions, from draft priorities to coaching strategies. By signaling priorities and values, Mahomes' emphasis on development reflects both personal ambition and investment in team sustainability. The speech establishes a framework for expectations, guiding internal strategy while signaling professional intent externally. Strategic messaging ensures alignment between Mahomes' vision, coaching staff objectives, and organizational goals, fostering consistency across multiple decision-making layers. Decoding these signals provides insight into projected career trajectory, organizational trust, and anticipated leadership roles. By embedding strategy within public communication, Mahomes influences both perception and internal planning simultaneously, demonstrating sophistication in leveraging communication as a tool for long-term advantage. This approach reflects an understanding that words, tone, and emphasis carry weight in shaping decisions, expectations, and outcomes beyond the immediate audience. The true meaning of Mahomes' speech emerges when considering context, delivery, and content collectively. Beyond surface-level statements, it communicates leadership intent, strategic foresight, and alignment with organizational goals. References to growth, accountability, and resilience indicate both personal and team priorities, while phrasing nuances reveal potential implications for contracts, roster dynamics, and future planning. Mahomes balances motivation with calculated signaling, fostering confidence among teammates while guiding perceptions of fans, media, and management. His speech exemplifies how elite athletes integrate communication, strategy, and psychology to influence multiple audiences simultaneously. By decoding every subtle cue from tone and pauses to word choice and emphasis, it becomes clear that Mahomes' address is both motivational and strategic. The real message is layered, reaffirming leadership, signaling readiness for adaptation, and reinforcing long-term vision for the Chiefs. Understanding this depth underscores Mahomes' role not just as a quarterback, but as a communicator, strategist, and leader, revealing the calculated sophistication behind every public statement he makes.